Hello and welcome back to the next stop. Yes, I know it's been a minute, but we're back and we're better. So the next stop is the place where you talk about where you've been, where you're at right now, and of course the next stop, where you're going next. And as you guys can see, we have a special guest here. I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Kenzdakreator, also known as Kenzie. So I'm an innovator, I'm a creative, and I'm an entrepreneur.
So Kenzie, let's talk a little bit about your background. Tell the people a little quick, bio about yourself, like where you from, what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I'm from Illinois by way of Jackson, Tennessee. Um, I am going into my senior year at Spelman as an art major with a minor in management and organization. And I'm an influencer, a content creator. I'm a social media consultant. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a clothing brand. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so what was it like growing up in Jackson and then moving to Illinois?
No, it's backwards.
Oh,
I
my
grew up
bad.
in Illinois,
You grew
then
up in
moved to
Illinois and
Jackson.
then moved to Jackson.
Yeah, so growing up in Illinois, that's where like all my family is. So when we moved to Jackson, it was definitely like a huge shift for me. But it didn't really felt like it didn't really feel like we lived there because we would always go back home to St. Louis or Illinois. Um so growing up there was very like alive environment, like always something to do. And then in Jackson, it's a small city. So I had felt like I had to create my own paths and like my own things to do there. So like in high school, I started a dance team and just made sure I was like never home so I could like always be doing something. So yeah.
Yeah, so what did growing up in Illinois kind of teach you, and what did growing up in Jackson kind of teach you?
Um, growing up in Illinois, it was like a lot of my early like years. So I don't know if I remember too much
Hmm.
about like lessons learned. Um, but I would say that it was like a huge shift when like moving from the north to the south, even though it's not even that far apart. It's like
Mm.
the way that people treat you, especially like being black. That was like something that opened my eyes for real, like especially in Tennessee and like just the way that people react. So, yeah.
Can you go a little bit more in detail about that?
Yeah, like I remember like in Illinois, I would say like black people in Illinois are more like aware of themselves. Like we know how to advocate for ourselves more up there, not really afraid or scared to do anything. Whereas like moving to Tennessee, it was like a lot of people were like just straight small minded like I'm gonna stay in Tennessee. I'm gonna stay in Jackson. I'm gonna live Jackson lives. I'm gonna only be in
Mm.
Jackson my entire life. Like I was the only person. It was me and one other girl that went to uh, a school outside of Tennessee my senior year in my entire senior class. So it was just
Wow.
like that. Like in Illinois, like everybody's like always up and moving, doing something, and then in Tennessee, it was like more like a one track type of vibe.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And do you think, you know, Illinois was like this because like you were living in a major city there?
I feel like it was because I was very close to St. Louis, so that had to be like some of the reasons. And then also in Tennessee, like Jackson, Tennessee is very small. Like it's not Nashville, it's not Memphis. So I definitely think that had like a part to play with the different people that lived in those areas and like how they reacted to the environment.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Tell me a little bit more about this dance team that you started while you were in Jackson.
Yeah, so actually, when I was in Illinois, I started dance from the age of 2 years old,
Oh wow, she was
and
very young.
I did jazz, hip hop, tap, ballet,
Yeah.
all of them, all the above.
Okay.
And it was at Midwest Dance Academy, and they ended up closing when I was like 8 years old, 8 or 10, one of them. And like we would have recitals every single year. I would do all the performances, whatever. Moved to Tennessee when I was going into my eighth grade year, and I got there, and my mom put me in a private school, so it was very different from what I was used to. And I went to a majority like white school, so
Mm,
that had something to do with it also. And I also did cheer, but they didn't do competition cheer there. So it was like I felt stuck. And when I went to high school, I was like, I have to do something. So I started a dance team called Crown Cougars, and we actually went off of the at that time it was Beyonce Homecoming going around.
yeah.
And the crown, like the crown is always going to show up in everything I do. So it's called Crown Cougars, and we literally like it was like a startup for real. Like so, it was probably like 8 people on the team, maybe.
Mm,
And we had like new choreographed dances for every single home basketball game. So like if there was a home game on Monday and then another one on Wednesday, it was a new dance.
mm-hmm.
So like that was something I really felt accomplished about. But I also catered the dance team to like the different people that were in the group. So like knowing my background and my experience, it wasn't like what I did at Midwest Dance Academy. It was like, what do y'all want to do? What type of songs do y'all perform to? I kid you not, our first performance we danced to NBA, Young Boy. Young Boy, yeah, yeah, we danced to
What
Young Boy.
song by NBA YoungBoy?
I don't even remember. I think it was I came through.
Yeah, I know that song. I know that song.
Yeah, so it was a vibe.
That's pretty cool. You gave the people what they want.
Exactly.
I like how you categorized it as a startup. That's a very unique word to categorize it as. So, what was the process like starting this dance group? Because I'm sure it wasn't easy, especially since you start off with 8 people.
Yeah, so again, like being in Jackson, like a lot of the people were very small minded. So it was definitely like some rigor when it came to like talking to my principal or different staff members because we had to find somebody that would be there after hours after school to be able to like watch us because that's where we practiced. And my school was also very brand new, so we were it was early is an early college high school, and it was the first one in Tennessee. So when I went there my freshman year, there were no seniors. So like we were the third graduating class, and it was just like a lot for them at the time. So my mom was a big like role player in this because she would drive from like she was a teacher, so she got off of work at school and then she would come sit in our practice because none of the staff members at school wanted to like be there.
Hmm.
So she would come, and she was like our official but unofficial coach. So like she would handle all the things when it came to like getting us time to perform at halftime or like coordinating with the people at the games to play our music and get our files, making sure they announced everything right, whatever, all of that. And then like on the dance team, we just cater to everyone's interests again, and just like everybody put in money. I think we would like try to do fundraisers, but we couldn't because it wasn't an official thing like tied to the school. So yeah, it was definitely like you got to do what you got to do type of thing.
I definitely get it, and I see why you categorize it as a startup. It's pretty interesting to hear how your mom kind of empowers you and the rest of the people in the dance team to really do this. Like, especially at the ages where we're young, our parents have a huge impact on our lives, and they can really take the steps to really empower us. And it's kind of amazing. It's amazing to actually hear how much your mom kind of empowered you with that and allowed you and the rest of the people in the dance team to be able to do that.
Yeah, my mom was definitely like a big role player in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
She supports me like through every crazy idea that I have. So like um I'm in college as an art major. Most parents are not going to let their kids go to a college like Spelman that has a $50,000 tuition and be an art major. So like just like things like that I'd say it's definitely shown up like throughout me growing up and like becoming the person I am today. So, yeah.
That's real. That's real. Like our parents have the power to really like launch pad us into new different heights, and they're supposed to be that safety net that catches us when we might fall down sometimes. So it's really great to hear how supportive your mom has been. So I know something happened to you during the pandemic that kind of caused your trajectory to change and what you do right now. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? I think you know what I'm referring to too.
um what are we talking about?
So during our conversation, you talked some of our previous conversations. You talked about how you weren't on social media till the pandemic,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know, being on social media kind of changed the trajectory of the different things that you're doing. So,
Yeah. So, funny story. My mother would not let me be on social media my entire life. And now I'm an influencer, a micro influencer who gets paid to make videos. And during COVID, that's when like she really I was a junior in high school at the time. And that's when she really like let me get on social media for real. Like I was able to officially have an Instagram. Mind you, I did have an Instagram before, but like yeah, I was able to like actually post and figure out like the social media world for myself. And again during COVID, that's when TikTok took off. So I was bored at home and I just used TikTok as like my creative outlet. So um I remember at first I wasn't really like a fan of TikTok. Like girls would be at my high school like making videos. I'd be like, what are they doing? Like and then I tried it out for myself and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun and hilarious. So I actually used to make like funny videos. I started off with funny videos, hair videos, and art videos. And those were the three that I would just like circulate. And I kid you not, I would make like probably 10 to 15 videos a day, post like three of them a
wow.
night. And I did that every day, like clockwork. Like, then I would be on live when I finally got the 1,000 followers and just playing around, just talking. Like, my mom would be on my lives too. Like, she knew, like, it was every single night at the same time. So I think it was just this thing where I became consistent without even realizing it, just because, like, we were stuck at home with nothing to do. So it happened, and I ended up building an audience. And then when I got to college and I turned 18, I realized that I was actually able to make money from a hobby. And that's when I started getting like a lot of the brand deals and like getting noticed by different people. Because at that point, I think I was at 200K on TikTok. And then yeah, I just realized like my passion for like storytelling, being a creative, and just having something to put out there for my audience to see.
Yeah. So, what was that conversation like with your mom to allow you to be on social media?
I don't even know if I remember the details. I don't think it was like an official like transition, like, okay, Kenzie, now you can do this. It was just like, okay, I think I had turned 16. Yeah. Turned 16 or 17, one of them. And I, she finally let me have it. And I remember specifically discussing with her before I came to college about like my brand and like my name on social media and like
Mm,
what I kind of wanted to gear my audience towards, especially like going into Spelman. I remember like a big thing was like she never let me post any videos with curse words in them. Like I
hmm.
had to go back and edit all of my audios. Like it was still rules after I was able to be on social media. So I'd be
Yeah.
like, I have all these good ideas. I'm like, Mama, like, can I just use this sound? She's like, no. So I had to literally like find my own way to make content to still do what I wanted to do. And I remember talking about my brand, and she actually helped me come up with Kenzdakreator.
Wow.
So like, and now that's just what I use for everything. But yeah, it was like just it was, I guess, it was like a smooth transition. It just happened.
Yeah, it just kind of happened naturally. So, like here at the next stop, right, we believe in giving people sauce, right? Giving people the resources. Like if you tap into the next stop, you should be able to learn something, right?
Hmm.
So this is the point in the podcast where people pull out their notebooks and they start taking notes on what you have to say. So you were just talking about how you developed your brand. Give people those next steps on how they can develop their own brand.
Yeah, so rebranding has come up a lot for me. So like I said before, like I went to college, I made sure that like that was a conversation that I brought up. And it has always been like a thing that I revisit every year because as we get older, we're growing, we're changing into new people. So I'm always constantly like looking at my socials, looking at like um things, different things that I do, and making sure that it's all under the same brand, or that like my mind and or my like how how other people perceive me in their minds are like the same. So
Hmm.
like different things that I might look at, just like the colors that I use on Instagram, like as small as that,
Wow.
or like the fonts that I use in all of my videos have to be the same, or the different pictures that I take. Like I don't post certain pictures. Um like I don't know, it's just always been a big thing, and maybe that comes from like how my mom would keep me off of social media for a certain reason, and I as I get older I start to learn like why that may have been, and like realize that it's for the better. Um but yeah, like I would definitely say like a tip I would give is to make sure that you're just being consistent throughout all the content that you're putting out, and no matter like what you do. So like if you me myself, I'm a creative. So I make sure that my Instagram looks like I'm a creative. Like it has to give off that vibe. Um so other people who are creatives, who are maybe, or people who may be interested in creatives, can like pull from that and like, like connect with my vibe. If that makes sense.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. How do you recommend people to figure out what their vibe is, right? Like for example, someone who's running like a sales business on Instagram will have like kind of a different vibe. Do you have like any tips or tricks on how they can better understand their brand and how they want to market themselves?
Yeah, so I would definitely say like in this time and day, ChatGPT is like the key to everything.
AI.
Like AI will write it out for you.
Yeah,
And you don't have to take verbatim what AI says, but like use AI as what it is. It's artificial intelligence and it's an assistant. Like you can't use it like word for word. But like I'd say put in some prompts in ChatGPT or Google Gemini. Like there's so many different AI platforms now. There's even one on Instagram now. So like use your resources and do a lot of research. So think about like the different think about your target audience and the people that you want to attract. So I know that when I was first getting started, the people that would watch me were like young girls aged 6 to 13. That was like my audience. And I didn't want to stay in that specific audience. And I knew like
mm,
when I went to Spelman, I wanted like HBCU, like 18 to 24-year-olds. Like I wanted an older audience and like that college age. So I would start making those type of videos, and I started to like put myself in the mind of my audience and think about like what would they want to see. So I could give them that, because really like people are gonna like people the way you build an audience is by giving them something that they want. So like people aren't going to stick around and watch your content if you're not providing something that they can take back. So I would definitely say do a lot of research on the types of niches that you want to put out there, and the audience that you want to attract.
that definitely makes a lot of sense. And I know over the last, I want to say like 3, 4 years, you've definitely been, continuing to build your social media presence and the creative work that you've done. What opportunities and what doors has that opened for you?
Yeah, so I say like coming in my freshman year with Spelman, I was making a lot of more like HBCU Spelman videos. So Spelman saw that, and they offered me a job as a social media strategist in the admissions office. And that wasn't a role before, because previously they had like a graphic designer for students, and then they had a student role that would just make video content. So they actually created this role for me, and I was able to hold it for my sophomore and junior year. But that was an opportunity. I was also able to be on like the new branding, the whole rebranding photo shoot that Spelman did. So I'm like on a couple banners and flyers. Spelman, like being able to do the content for them gave me experience in like the real world. So then I was able to like carry that over to like the videos and the partnerships that I had with different brands. So like um I'd say some of my favorite partnerships were like with TikTok and Thurgood Marshall College Fund, and then recently JBL.
Can you talk more about what your partnerships were like with those three?
Yeah, so everything is like different. when it comes to like the different campaigns that you might receive and the different deliverables that they want. So like with TMCF, it was my sophomore year, and I was still fresh and like getting into like the partnership scenes because I just turned 18 that previous semester. So I got this random email from like I don't think it I don't know I can't remember if it was like a TikTok email. I got an email from someone saying, "Hey Kenzie, like we're reaching out to see what's your rate for a 15 and 30-second video for a and a trip in Charlotte for a pitch competition." I'm like, this is not real. Like they're lying. Like this is fake. So
Yeah.
I ignored the email. And then I was on the phone with my mom one day and I brought it back up. I was like, I don't think this is real. Like, because we ended up making an email just so, like, she's my momager, basically.
Hmm.
So we made an
Momager.
email. We made an email so she could manage it and I could manage it as well. So we could separate from like school and like personal. So, I have an email for any brands or partnerships and it's connected to all my social channels. So she was looking at it and she did the initial like research when it came to she looked up like the email tag and put that in Google to find where that may come from. And it ended up being like a foreign country email, but TikTok is a formal brand
Mm,
and business. So that's how we like make that connection. And some of the things that we do with like any brands or partnerships is like if they are requesting something, we ask to talk on the phone about it or talk on the call so we can like talk face to face to a person instead of like communicating through words. So with that one, we ended up it was actually like one of the biggest amounts that I've gotten paid throughout my career, and we ended up finding out that was a black woman behind it.
wow.
And because I had initially only sent like I said my rate is like 1,200. I was like, I don't know, like is that enough? I don't know, like, and she ended up reaching back out to me and she was like, no, we're gonna give you way more than that. It was like scholarship type money. And she was like, she doesn't like to see how like um influencers, especially like young black female influencers are like undermining their work and themselves.
Mm,
And she really pushed for me to get like the money because one, I was working with a bank and I was working with TikTok. And one thing you have to think about when collaborating with different brands is that they have the money.
yeah, they
Like
do.
they have the money to give. They just don't want you to know that and want you to think that. So that was pretty cool experience. I got to go to Charlotte. They even let my mom come because my mom didn't want me to go out there by myself.
Yeah,
Even though they sent me like a TikTok associate to be like my what is it, like my assistant
like
throughout
your
the
ambassador
yeah,
kind of.
like they sent me a TikTok associate, and then they made a badge for my mom and made a badge for me, uh, and paid for her to come out there. And then at the end, they even took us out and some of the other students because it was a HBCU pitch competition for TMCF. So they let me choose any of the students I want to take out, and we went out with like a group from Southern
Hmm.
and ate at STK and
Oh
ran the bill
wow.
up on the TikTok
Yeah.
cards. That was so fun. And then like when it came to like JBL, they reached out to me about a college campaign that they had going on,
Mm,
and it was like a month by month type thing. They would send me bulk like a bunch of headphones, speakers, and AirPods or earpods, and then um, there would be like different themes that I had to go off on. So like there's a fitness theme, there's a wellness theme, and like I had to make videos on content rounds and like post two stories when it
yeah.
came with every video. So
I remember you shooting the video in the gym with your little JBL headphones.
I mean, actually, like when I first got it, I was like JBL. Like I'm an Apple person. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do this, but they're not bad.
No,
Like,
JBL speakers are really
and I didn't
good.
realize that
Yeah.
because like I was even thinking about Beats. I was like, Beats is I had a pair of Beats, but then I had ended up leaving them in Ghana, and then that's when I knew me and JBL were locked in because I
Mm,
I left my Beats in Ghana, and I had made a video about it one time on Instagram, and I was opening my JPL package, And I was like, I wonder what's gonna be in here. I hope it's a new pair of over the ear headphones, whatever. Posted that. The next day I get an email from the JVL woman, like the person I've been working with, and she was like, "We saw your video on how you left so and so and like how you left your headphones and we'd love to send you a new pair."
Yeah.
And I got the package and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So, yeah,
Hey, go
definitely
by JBL.
yeah, definitely like keep your relationships with every brand and and don't get too comfortable. That's one thing that I've learned cuz like no matter all the brands and campaigns that you might be on, like you never know who's behind what or who will see what. So,
Mm.
yeah.
One thing I really like that you talked about is how like it's important to know your worth. I feel like as people of color, oftentimes we have like that imposter syndrome in certain spaces where we don't think that we're talented enough or we don't think we're worth a certain amount. In actuality, like, we tend to work harder to get into those certain spaces. So our work and our effort is definitely you know, worth a certain amount, and we should make sure that we get paid in that amount.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's important to have conversations like that with your peers, right? That's really good that the person from TikTok, advocated for you and made sure that you knew your worth, because if they didn't, you still would have got paid, but you wouldn't have received how much you're worth and you wouldn't have that knowledge. So
Mhm.
like as a community, I think it's important for us to continue to uplift others and like educate each other on that.
Yeah. That's one thing that especially in like the creative space, something that like I'm gonna be working on a project soon to like kind of help that, but I hate like gatekeeping and like just keeping certain opportunities to yourself because that like you can't do everything and
Hmm.
that doesn't help everyone like you never know like you giving another opportunity to someone could also end up helping you in the longer run like it just I don't know so, and I always have like aspired to like have this group of creatives to like collaborate and work with and I definitely think like in this industry like I just found out that like the influencer marketing industry is a $12.9 billion industry right now.
Wow.
So like there's money out there and one person can't just have all that money. So I definitely think that like collaborating and like helping the community is an important thing.
Yeah, like I truly do believe that life is a team sport and that to get anywhere you have to work as a team. Like there's that African proverb that says like if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone, but if you want to go somewhere far, go with a group of people.
That's good.
Yeah. So, I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree. But talk to me about some of the other things that you're working on right now and some different projects that you have coming up in the future.
Well, you know, the Black Experience
Talk about it.
we just dropped
Just dropped.
actually. So go shop at Feel TBX on Instagram, the Black Experience when you search it. But so I have a clothing brand that I have neglected to tell everybody about during my entire college experience. Why? It was not intentional, but I got the Spelman, my dream school, and I was just like in the clouds. So finally like coming back down and like trying to work on certain things that I knew I wanted to establish. So the Black Experience is a lifestyle brand where we just try to like help share everyone's stories because being black is so diverse and it's a community of people that I feel have very strong and important stories that people need to hear. Um so yeah, that's what we're about. And we just dropped. So yeah, go shop. But I'm also like trying to work on developing myself as a creator. Um as I near my last year in college, I started like thinking about the things that I want to continue after school and like what will be those things that last with me like lifelong. So I've definitely been like picking up new cameras, picking up like new skills, meeting new people, networking a lot in the field to really like learn from people who are doing it in the professional industry. So, developing my portfolio over the summer is definitely something that I'm working on and just meeting new people and getting out there, putting myself out there more in the creative space because I don't want to just stick to like the influencer side. I want to like develop visuals and
Mm.
photography and stuff like that. So, yeah.
What advice do you have for fellow creatives who want to develop their skills? Are there any other like resources that you recommend checking out? I know you mentioned chat, but like, do you recommend like YouTube, or should they just like, play around with different things? What's your strategy and what advice would you give to others?
I would definitely say for me, it's like trial and error because
Mm,
I feel like the best way to learn is to fail. And failing fast, you have to be comfortable with that. Like you
facts.
have to be comfortable with failing fast because that's the best way to like grow and learn for yourself. Um, I used to like be afraid of like getting things wrong or messing up, but I just accepted it at a point, and like when you do, it's like you realize how like at one point you were down here and now you're up here and you're better because you learned from yourself, like from your own experience. So trial and error, like try new things, put yourself in like uncomfortable spaces, because I think that's another way for me, like something that has definitely helped me grow as a creative for sure. Just and putting your work out there so people can see it, because a lot of the times as creatives we're like always looking at our work 24 hours and we're like, oh, this is horrible, it's not ready to go out yet, but we just got to put it out there so we can see, because you never know.
Yeah, you never do. No. Like, I love failing. Like, I that's something that I feel like more people need to embrace. Like, you need to fail forward, right?
Yes.
Because if you're failing at something, that means you're reaching for something high. You're reaching for something unobtainable right now. So that causes you to develop more skills, and that causes you to try harder and try new different things. I feel like failure is great when you're learning stuff from your losses and being able to apply it to get that W.
Yeah, and it shows that you're actually like trying
Hmm.
and like working towards something like you said. So yeah.
So that's definitely that is very real. That is very real. I know we were talking a lot about TikTok. What are your thoughts on the whole situation where they're trying to get people off of TikTok?
Okay, so there's been so many TikTok scares throughout like TikTok's existence in the US. It's crazy. Like there was one time where I actually believed it and I downloaded every single TikTok I had onto my phone.
Wait, every
Every
single TikTok?
single I had like over 200 TikToks
That's
and it
crazy.
was downloaded to my phone cuz I'm like, so I have went through that before when I had Musically and Instagram or Snapchat when I wasn't supposed to have it. And when you delete Snapchat, it deletes your memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happened to me a couple times. And that's when I said I'm not losing my TikTok videos. So I downloaded every single one. And I was just so afraid. But it's like I don't think TikTok's going anywhere, to be honest. I don't think it's gonna happen. But also if it does, like it's a community and a space for creatives, and creatives are always going to find something new to like innovate with or put their work on. So if that does happen, we just go with the flow and like keep going. But yeah.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go away either. Like, there's so many creatives who are on TikTok who are making a living off of it, but not only creatives, but small businesses as well. Like, they've been using TikTok and they've been getting like a lot of, you know, new customers.
Recognition,
Yeah, and
yeah.
recognition. Like, for example, like the Keith Lee effect, like him going to small
Yes.
businesses and then like the next day it being packed out, you know.
Yeah, and that's where Keith Lee started. And like even with him and his whole brand and his business now, like that's how he is supporting his family now. And I love like one thing about him, he's also like he's helping the community and bringing the community up with him.
Hmm.
Cuz like when he goes to these businesses, he doesn't do it just for TikTok. He like goes under an alias and makes sure that they're actually doing what they say, like what they're promoting, so that other people can like truly trust and rely on his content as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what social media is all about, building and uplifting communities. So it's great that people are able to, make money from doing that, but also more importantly, give back to the community by doing that.
Yeah. And I definitely say that's one thing that I want to focus like that I try to focus on in my content. Like I said, I try to put myself in the place of the audience and like really make sure that I'm giving the audience what they want to see on my page. Um and another thing like with um with creating like community spaces for creatives and like giving out tips and like things like that. I just did a Instagram live the other day with another senior at Morehouse who was a content creator and he was doing some of the same brand deals that I was doing. And we were literally giving out like gems and sign up for this, do that, like to really like give people because this influencer stuff is a side hustle. This is how I'm making money in college. Like and college students are broke. So it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
definitely like helping and to be able to monetize off of like fun and make videos is like the best job ever. So
yeah. Like I will say college students don't have money, but there's so many opportunities to make money in college. Like the amount of people I met in college hustling is ridiculous. Whether that's like cutting hair or like doing like all these different part-time jobs or internships or doing exploratory programs because they'll pay you too for just being out there for a couple of days or like doing like marketing, like social
yeah,
media. Like people are looking to get in the faces of college students and they're willing to pay you guys a very nice, expensive ticket price.
more now than ever because I just went to a Spotify, no, not Spotify. It was Cricket Wireless Gen Z Day, and it was literally a day, like an entire day from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. where they spent studying Gen Z.
Mm,
Gen Z only, and they invited a panel of influencers, and I was on that panel just to literally talk about the different like decisions that we make and how we influence like the world and shopping and where our money goes. And it was crazy. Like it was a bunch of marketing like researchers there, literally just studying us. And it made me realize like how big like the industry is right now. Like
yeah,
everybody could like everyone's like an influencer right now, for real.
yeah, like it's a big industry, and our generation, like we're the ones running it.
Yeah, our generation.
Yeah,
Even though you're like 22 and you're old.
we're in the same. We're both Gen Z.
Okay.
But you talked about this a little bit already. But are there any other next stops that you want to highlight?
Yeah. Okay. So next stops, I'm really trying to get myself like put my voice out there more in my content because I realized that like after being at Spelman, I kind of like shifted my like I kind of took some of my personality out of my content without even realizing it. So, like I used to make funny videos and I'm a very like I like to laugh. I'm a goofy person, but a lot of people wouldn't know that because of the type of content that I make now. So, I've started doing like more like voiceovers and like more just talking videos just to put my voice out there and like really try to stick to that authentic vibe that I'm trying to give on my content. And then I'm also I'm developing another project, but I'll let y'all see that when it comes. The Yeah.
So this is my final question for you. You've been very fearless throughout all the different things that you've done, from starting your dance club to, doing what you do on social media now. What advice do you have to the people watching this video or listening to this podcast on, taking those steps forward in their dream and not letting the outside noise and other people's opinions affect them?
Mm, I would definitely say just be 100% authentically you and intentional. Because intentionality is a very, like, it plays a big role in how we show up for ourselves and in front of other people. So I would say, like, one thing that made me learn that very early and quick was my 17th birthday during COVID. That's when like I was growing my TikTok audience. And there was this group of girls at my high school that were very like jealous and they like I had posted a video talking about like, oh, when you only have like two friends at your birthday dinner. Me personally, I keep my circle small, so like that's fine with me. I don't need like a big group.
Hmm.
So it was just a video, just to be funny, but like they ended up commenting on there like a whole bunch of crazy comments, and I went and deleted all the comments just because again I knew my audience. It's like young black girls looking at my page. I didn't want them to see this, and I didn't find out about it until like it was circulating around like on Snapchat, people screenshotting the comments and tagging people, whatever. And I realized that like people are not going to like you for anything that you do, no matter if you make the right or wrong decision. And you really just have to like block out all of the nonsense and just like have like a, I want to say like a like a, I don't know what's the word, like a
Tunnel vision.
tunnel vision. You have to have tunnel vision and like really, like if you say you want to do something, you have to do it because again, people are not gonna like you for, they're gonna come up with thousands of reasons to not like you, no
Mm.
matter what you do. So that's something I learned like very early, and it's also like what my mom like put into me and my siblings as we grew up. Like people are always gonna hate, and I say if you don't have haters, then you're not doing
You're
anything
not
right.
popping.
So like definitely have tunnel vision and do whatever you put your mind to and be intentional and authentic.
Yeah. Like you live your life for you. And if you live your life for you, then you should live full out and be who you are and not let anyone affect that.
Yeah, that's real.
But yeah, I appreciate having you at the next stop. Are there any socials that you would like to shout out?
You know, we got a couple at Kenzdakreator on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's all the same. And at Feel to Be X, cause shop with the brand.
Hey, go shop. Merch is out now. We'll see you all at the next stop.